good girl, but instead you chose the real world. Yeah, you've always been a savage. Oh, you've always been a bad chick. I don't care if you got issues.
After 5 battles, the gods have won 3 and mankind has won 2. Mankind is one step closer to annihilation. The 6th bout of Ragnarok is about to begin. After 7 million years, it looks like humanity's end is drawing near. The MC begins to introduce the next representative of the gods. He is the one who will lead humanity to its demise. The one who once guided man through the suffering caused by earthly desires, the god who showed humanity a way forward through the darkness. He renounced his palace, his family, his earthly desires, and the 6 destructive emotions. He walked a path no one had ever walked before. He wandered alone, as solitaire as the horn of a rhinoceros. He is alone throughout heaven and earth. His solitude is his strength. He was born a prince and died a god, the prodigal son who awakened the world, and humans honor him with the name Buddha. Mankind panics when Buddha becomes their enemy. However, Buddha goes to the side of humanity and says that he will fight for humanity. Everyone in the arena was surprised. The gods scold him for a disgrace and ask him to get off the stage. He crushes the megaphone and says, if the gods won't save mankind, then he will. And if any of them get in his way, he will kill them. The gods are extremely angry at his words. Gaul doesn't understand why Buddha wants to fight on the human side. Brunhilde seems to have foreseen this because gods like him prefer to do as they please. Shortly before round 6, Buddha saw Brunhilde crying. He approached and gave her roasted beans. He got straight to the point that he would fight for humanity, but Brunhilde wasn't surprised to hear it. It looks like she foresaw this. She knew that here in Valhalla, nobody hated the gods more than he did. The MC tells him he can't switch teams like that. The roster for Ragnarok is already picked out. No defecting, divine intervention or anything like that is allowed. Zeus comes over and says he doesn't mind it. But the MC is afraid the rules of Ragnarok cannot be bent. The gods and the humans both put forth 13 warriors. Whichever side wins 7 rounds first is the victor. Those are the only rules in Article 62, Paragraph 15 of the Valhalla Constitution. But more than that, Zeus can't deny that Buddha's introduced a gripping twist. It's enough to make him want to get back into the ring himself. Odin intervenes in their conversation and asks Buddha if he is ready to fight all the gods. Buddha says that friends or enemies, good or bad, gods or humans, it's all just noise to a god like him. Only one thing in the universe is certain. He does what he wants. Zeus laughs and says that the fighter for the 6th bout has been decided. It's the 7 gods of good fortune. The warrior fighting for the gods in round 6 is Vaisravana. The MC tells everyone who isn't Vaisravana or Buddha to leave the ring now. The 7 of them can't fight as a team. It's against the rules. Actually, they are not 7, they are 1. Vaisravana breaks the armor and asks the remaining 6 to enter his body. 7 deities rule over all the world's luck. However, it is said that there is one more god among their ranks, the legendary 8th god of good fortune. For eons, mortals have wondered, does the 8th god truly exist? The 7 gods of good fortune were never truly 7 at all. They were always 1. When he sets foot upon the earth, the heavens shall be destroyed, all happiness shall disappear, and mankind shall have eternal sorrow. His name is Zirafuku. Since he had just awakened, Zirafuku needed to break several joints in order to move. He took out a huge axe from inside his body. The MC never imagined such a sinister deity could exist. MC's phone rang. The organizers ask him to start the match. He introduces the 2 fighters again. Buddha will fight for the humans, and Zirafuku will fight for the gods. The match begins. Brunhilde says that Zirafuku was originally a good god who spread fortune everywhere he went. But sorrow changed him. Long ago in Asia, humans and gods were in close contact with one another. In fact, some gods even chose to live in the mortal realm. This is Zirafuku, a kind god. He rescues a bird that has fallen out of the nest. He hopes the birds are all happy. Back then, Zirafuku was still a kind and gentle god. Upon his descent from heaven, Zirafuku learned the ugly truth. Mankind was living in misfortune, enduring 8 classes of suffering. He doesn't know what he should do to make them happy. He thinks if the humans are suffering, he just needs to cut off what's causing them pain. Then they'll be happy for sure. A boy nearby was having a heart attack. Zirafuku approached and absorbed all of his suffering into himself. The boy's chest no longer hurt, and he could run and jump normally. That day, Zirafuku found a way to save the humans from their misfortunes. The young god absorbed their suffering and accepted it as his own. Such was the sacred duty he chose for himself. He wanted mankind to be free from their misfortune, so he consumed it. He suffered all for them. Then, after several years, he took a lot from them. The misfortune he absorbed was so great, it left him in excruciating pain. but the joy he received from making humans happy soothed his weary soul. He wondered how the people in that village were doing. He hoped they were all happy. That was the day Zirafuku learned the truth about mankind's true nature. The more misfortune he absorbed from the humans, the more the humans lost sight of happiness and fell into depravity. The boy he saved before has turned evil, after he absorbed all their misfortune for them. Why aren't they happy? A group of strangers appeared, headed by Buddha. Zirafuku thought they must have heard that he could absorb misfortune, so they came here to find him. The crowd of people following Buddha was filthy and destitute, but the looks on their faces were peaceful and full of joy. Zirafuku told Buddha to wait. He asked, "Why do all the humans around you look so happy?" He tried so hard to take all of the humans' pain himself. But why are these humans not happy at all? He did so much for them, and now they are all more miserable than ever. Buddha told him that he shouldn't try to force happiness on others because it comes from within. Wherever there is shadow, there is also light. The enlightened one said, "Do you wish for happiness? Then take up a burden that is suitable to your own self. That is the way to create joy in the shadow that creates happiness." From Sutta Nipata, Chapter 2. Zirafuku couldn't accept the fact that he was wrong and ran away. He had become envious of humans. He is not built to endure such tremendous shame. Many legends tell of what happened next. The once benevolent god's love turned into hatred, and then he became hell-bent on destroying the human race. Now, time for the slaughter. He attacked a few humans nearby. Just when he was about to kill a woman, her baby made him regain some composure. Before he was able to annihilate the human race, Zirafuku split himself into the 7 gods of good fortune, and that is how the legend of the 8th god was born. The time has finally come. Zirafuku wants to punish Buddha for making him look like a fool. Buddha kicks him in the stomach and says he doesn't remember they ever met. Come on, get up and fight. Zirafuku wondered, why must he still be the one who asks to endure so much pain? Why? Gaul finds that axe scary, it looks like it's alive. Zirafuku rushes to attack Buddha, but he is able to dodge them all. He gets angry and thinks of himself as a misfortune, and his axe grows bigger. That axe of his is a weapon that absorbs all misfortune. It means that the more suffering that weapon comes into contact with, the larger and more destructive it becomes in battle. That's why they call it kataxetrophy. A frightful god should have a frightful weapon. It's unfortunate. And of course, every time Buddha dodges an attack, it is quite unfortunate for Zirafuku. That means that every time Buddha dodges something, Zirafuku's attacks become more powerful. Buddha compliments Zirafuku by slapping his feet, which infuriates him. Watch Buddha's movements closely. He's moving before Zirafuku even starts his attacks. He isn't just dodging. He's one step ahead of every single swing. Buddha is able to evade because he already knows every move Zirafuku will make. But his ability is different from Sasaki Kajiro. Sasaki's ultimate prediction ability came from years of experience and training in battle. But the technique Buddha is using now is another thing entirely. He can see into the future. It is a plane of existence that only the enlightened one, Buddha himself, can reach. Samyak Sambodhi Alaya Vainana. Gaul thinks that Buddha will win with this amazing ability. Even though Zirafuku's power is increasing, he still can't touch Buddha. Humanity clearly thought that Buddha would definitely win this round. However, Zirafuku's hatred of Buddha caused his axe to become monstrously large. Buddha stops moving because he knows he can't dodge. Zirafuku immediately sends divine punishment to him. However, before the axe reaches Buddha, he activates the Asura realm, Avalokitesvara, shield of Ahimsa. Buddha didn't get a scratch, which made Zirafuku extremely angry. Brunhilde states that Buddha's weapon is divine treasure, the staff of 6 realms. In Buddhism, during the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, all humans must pass through the 6 realms, and a bodhisattva watches over each one of them. The Staff of 6 Realms is a divine treasure that holds the power of those 6 bodhisattvas. It is a powerful relic that automatically changes its form in response to Buddha's emotions. Zirafuku changes the shape of the axe with multiple blades. He intends to tear the Buddha apart. Buddha activates the staff's second form, Realm 2, Animal Realm, Avalokitesvara. The staff wants Buddha to fight seriously, and he agrees to it. With a fierce strike, he knocks Zirafuku by his feet. A bit of Buddha's past. There once was a young man who had everything from the moment he was born. Kaudiya Gautama Siddhartha was born the crown prince of the Shakya clan. Hailing from a small country in what is now known as northern India, he wanted for nothing. He had the highest social status, the most luxurious clothes, the finest food, the most beautiful living quarters, and the most prestigious education. The gods had promised him that he'd be the king of the world someday, so he even had the best future. When Siddhartha grew up, he was loved by the people because he always put his people's needs first. Siddhartha had accepted his role as a prince in the Shakya clan. It was the destiny he knew the heavens had chosen for him. Until one faithful day, Siddhartha visited the king of Mala Kingdom, Jataka. The king was one of Siddhartha's distant relatives and was 5 years older than him. The two of them were quite close. Siddhartha told Jataka that he was going to become a king whose people prospered. It's his destiny to make them happy. Siddhartha admires Jataka because he helped people have a good life, and he believed that Jataka was happy with that. However, Jataka said that he was struggling with an illness. From his entire life, he's tried to make people happy, so that one day he could become a good king. He wondered about the life he lived and who it belonged to in the end. A few days later, King Jataka passed away. It seems the entire country is in mourning today. Siddhartha remembered Jataka's words. This life I lived, who did it belong to in the end? He never got to reach for his own happiness. Right now, Siddhartha is enlightened. He went to Jataka's funeral and lifted the coffin, causing everyone to panic. He took Jataka to a river and told him to see the world. That day, Siddhartha ran from the castle, leaving his wife, children, possessions, and throne behind him. He renounced everything he had, left for the fields, and finally began walking down a path of his own. Like the rhinoceros, solitary and alone, Buddha doesn't care about the struggles between gods and men. He simply can't stand it when anyone is denied their inner happiness when they've been saddled with a destiny they did not choose for themselves. He hates it so much, he'll do anything to stop it. He's living the youth in history. Zirafuku's weapons continue to evolve, causing Buddha to constantly change the shape of his weapon to fight. Buddha and Zirafuku are hacking at each other head-on. With his precognition, Buddha's at a slight advantage. Buddha's lightning reverse diagonal slash hurt Zirafuku. Zirafuku's weapon continues to evolve. His unhappiness continues to increase. Buddha also changes his weapon form. The Staff of 6 Realms, Realm 3, Human Realm, Avalokitesvara. He's cutting through all of Zirafuku's attacks. And the storm is over. Buddha has weathered Kataxetrophia's push. Humanity is dancing for Buddha. The gods also can't deny that Buddha is so damn cool. This is just like what happened back then. Everyone's always talking about Buddha. Why? Not fair. It's not fair. Buddha sends him advice, you need to work on loving yourself. Zirafuku, I really like you. Thanks to Buddha's words, Zirafuku finally understands now. It makes so much sense. All this time, he just wanted to be like him. He just wants everyone to love him too. The Kataxetrophy loses its power. Buddha also throws his weapon and tells Zirafuku to continue the fight. Zirafuku and Buddha exchange punches. Buddha, even though he used to be a human, but the whole time, he still understood him better than anyone else ever could. Right now, he is so happy, happier than ever. The god and the human let down their guards and spoke heart to heart. For the first time in his life, Zirafuku had been saved. With one last all-powerful swing, Buddha just punched Zirafuku, and it's a knockout. Zirafuku is reverting back to his true form. He promises he'll try to believe again. He'll believe in what he wants for himself, and he'll do his best to make people happy like he used to. Suddenly, Zirafuku's 2 horns return to his body. They turn into 2 dragons and envelope Zirafuku's body, a devil born of hatred. At that moment, Buddha suddenly jumps away because he saw the future. But the truth is that he hadn't seen the future. The devil king of the 6th heaven, Papias, was reborn. Brunhilde was shaken by his wickedness. Buddha asks him where Zirafuku is. Papias says that he has disappeared and no longer exists anywhere in the world. He introduces himself as Papias and wants to try out his power. The gods are also wondering who he is. Hades comes and says he isn't a god at all. He asks Ares to leave his chair. He came to watch this match because he heard that his brother had lost. At first, he didn't believe it, but he sees now just how naive he was. What a shame. Hades reveals that Papias is a calamitous monster of ancient Helheim lore, the legendary Berserker. According to the mythos, the universe is divided into 3 levels. At the apex is the realm of the gods and spirits, Valhalla or heaven. In the center is the realm of men and beasts, Midgard or earth. And the lowest of the 3 is hell itself, the underworld, the land of demons, from which no soul can be saved. It's called Helheim. There is a story in Helheim that has been passed down over millennia. A horned calamity shall be born from the union of light and shadow, and on the day he rises from the underworld, darkness shall reign eternally. His name is Papias, the devil king of the 6th heaven. Even Hades, king of Helheim, has never seen him before. He also doesn't know how a god from heaven transformed into Papias himself. It really is quite a mystery. In the arena, Papias intends to finish this battle instantaneously, but is surprised that his opponent is able to block his attack. Brunhilde looks at Papias, and she can't sense any light. Papias is a creature of darkness. Buddha's power, Samyak Sambati Alaya Vainana, allows him to see the glimmering souls of all living things, and therefore detect their movements. But now, Buddha is faced with an opponent whose soul has no glimmer at all, so he can't see anything. Buddha's power is useless against him. Papias is on an offensive onslaught, and Buddha is still trying to block them all. Papias is impressed with him and decides to get a little more serious. He activates the Pandemonium cycle. Buddha also activates the Shield of Ahimsa. However, Papias' weapon penetrated it. Papias looks excited when he saw someone injured. The gods are also shocked to see this scene. Papias was planning to stab him straight through his head, but he dodged it just in the nick of time. He wonders if Buddha can dodge it forever. It looks like Buddha's left eye is totally gone. That puts him at quite a disadvantage. He's facing him from a different angle to compensate for his blind spot. Papias couldn't hide his excitement when he was overwhelming someone. He has the advantage. He's wearing Buddha down. Buddha is completely outmatched. Hades says that a normal god is utterly helpless against the power such as his. He once single-handedly destroyed half of Helheim in one fell swoop. He is truly a force beyond comprehension. Indeed, he would have destroyed all of it, but luck happened to be on their side. As the story goes, after inflicting all of that destruction on the underworld, Papias disappeared without a trace, and no matter how many months or years passed, he never returned. For eons, Hades thought that story was nothing more than a simple fairy tale. Hermes wonders why he returns now. Hades said that someone must have obtained the last remnants of Papias' soul, the ones he left behind when he disappeared. It seems that this individual incubated those remnants and turned them into seeds. And then, once they had those seeds of Papias, they planted them in Zirafuku. There is only one person who has the time and skill to perform such a senseless, chaotic act. Of course, it would be him, Beelzebub. Buddha was repeatedly injured while parrying Papias' attacks. He has no hope of winning now. Papias tells him to surrender and accept the divine punishment. Buddha thinks that Zirafuku still exists inside Papias because he kept mentioning the divine punishment. Papias laughs and says he devoured him long ago. He was unremarkable in life, but he made a fine meal. Buddha asks him to shut up. He decides to kill Papias right here. The Staff of 6 Realms transforms according to Buddha's emotions. Realm 5. Predator Realm. However, in that moment, the emotion in Buddha's heart was one that he had once cast aside, deeming it poisonous. Hatred. The Staff of 6 Realms transformed into a form that even Buddha himself had never seen before. Its name is Warscythe of Salakaya. The gods say it certainly seems out of character for Buddha. Buddha rushes to attack and activate Karmanirodha Samsara. Papias parried it. Buddha activates Karmanirodha Samsara again, combines with the thrust of fire. However, Papias blocks it with his bare hands and pierces Buddha's stomach by his remaining arm. Papias wants to hear the Buddha's last words. Buddha says again, if the other gods won't save mankind, then he will. Papias kicks him out. Buddha's been beaten through the stomach, but he's still holding on to his scythe. He taunted Papias that he is scared. Papias says he has found the perfect soil, grown into the ultimate being, and choked the feeble creature. His old body used to be unable to withstand this power, but now it's different. Buddha scoffs that he is too weak. He's way weaker than Zirafuku was. Papias rushes to show him what weakness is. He is launching a rapid-fire flurry. Ares states that Buddha can't see the future anymore and has been mortally wounded. There's no hope for him now, but he was a great man until the end. Hades scolds Ares for being stupid. Just look at Buddha's eyes. He hasn't given up yet. A chance, that's what he's trying to do. He really is aiming for it. He's aiming for the spell that brings the dead back to life. Papias wonders how he is still on his feet after such an attack. Buddha continues to provoke Papias, which angers him. Hades realizes that Papias is scared. Papias doesn't understand why he is scared. He separates his left arm from his body and turns it into a sword. Buddha rushes over and activates Karmanirodha Samsara, but the blade is cut and his weapon returns to its original form. Papias rushes to attack, causing his staff to break. In this moment, his spirit teleported somewhere. Someone grabs his hand. He wakes up and feels himself grabbing something. It is the weapon left by Zirafuku. Right here, Zirafuku's weapon is absorbing Buddha's benevolence instead of misfortune. And now, through some of Adhana, it's become something entirely different. The ultimate all-powerful divine treasure that only Buddha could hope to create. It embodies the pinnacle of enlightenment in Buddhism. Sword of Mahapari Nirvana 0. Now that he has a new divine treasure, he's putting the nerve in Nirvana. All of mankind cheers from the depths of their souls, cheering with all their strength, emboldening Buddha to victory. In those cheers, the hopes and dreams of humanity rang out, coming together as one, like rivers to the sea, until at last, they reach Buddha. Papias wonders, why won't this man die? His life was but an ember in my hand, ready to be snuffed out in an instant. Why is he not afraid? Why is he not begging for his life? It looks like Buddha has an advantage, but the warriors say that Buddha cannot win because he's been blinded in one eye and has a mortal wound on his side. Papia's landing divine punishment on Buddha makes his wound worse. Buddha parries Papia's attack and gets back into the fight. Papias wonders how Buddha could still stand after parrying his strongest attack. But it seems that Buddha has begun to burn out. He won't last long at this rate. Papia's next attack will bring this to an end. Buddha doesn't have enough strength left to block Papia's attack. However, Buddha's eyes changed. He saw the future of Papias. Brunhilde believes that Papia's fear helped him see the fluctuations in Papia's soul. Papias gets really mad, and he goes on to land divine punishment on Buddha, and he thinks he did it. However, he only hit the afterimage of Buddha. A great teacher once said, "Not startled, like a lion at sounds. Not snared, like the wind in a net. Not sullied, like a lotus in water. One must wander, as solitary as the horn of a rhinoceros. But if you gain a companion, one who is worthy of intertwining their soul with your own, then you shall overcome all dangers. Let your heart rejoice and go with them." Are you watching? Zirafuku. This is the path we need to wander, so let's do it together. Mahaparinirvana. He did it. Buddha won. I'll see you again, Zirafuku. Round 6 of Ragnarok. The final battle between gods and humans has come to an end, and the winner is Buddha. Meanwhile, Odin goes to see Beelzebub. He said that he had longed for a battle like this for a long time and wouldn't allow anyone to interfere. 3 wins and 3 losses. It seems the gods tied with the mortals again. They have no choice, the next round is theirs. Hade volunteers to fight to avenge his brother. Brunhilde is surprised to learn that Hades will be the next representative. Brunhilde has chosen a suitable representative to fight the King of Hell. He is the king of the beginning.